What are you boycotting till the day you die? This gas station on Valley Road in Montclair across from Alexa's Steakhouse that didn't let me use their bathroom, and I crap my pants. Bruno, I literally know what you're talking about. First time on Reddit that I've read about somewhere I've been. Should've just pooped on the hill going to the dorms. Shaw Academy. Sleazy little fricks. Their lies in advertising, and nearly impossible to cancel a subscription with them. Tried doing a course that was a free 4-week course. The course was free for the first 4 weeks, but the way they sold it was that the course itself was 4 weeks and free. They say you can finish a course as fast or long as you want, but I think it caps out at 3 lessons a week, making you stay in the program for a few months, paying monthly. Trying to cancel is a nightmare. Sifting through pages and pages of "Are you sure you want to cancel? Here's a 5% discount. Fill this form out. Now this one. And now this one." All to get to a phone number that is only valid to call for a couple hours a day. When you finally get to call, it's an automated message. 10 minutes of a robot telling me it cares about me and wants me to stay. Only to finally press 2 to cancel my subscription. Frick. Shaw Academy. Yes. And the one-click purchases. I accidentally clicked to find more information and ended up spending $80 on a toolkit I didn't want. And then when you finally finish the course, you have to pay another $90 if you actually want the diploma. StubHub. The way they handled the pandemic with changing their policies in peak pandemic so people could only recover credit or resell their tickets instead of receiving cash for cancelled events was ridiculous. I was forced to hold my Coachella ticket for 2 years. Then they decided to refund everyone this year when they realized they would make more money since the ticket prices will surge when the event is back in 2023. Frick StubHub. Oh, StubHub is so bad. I had the app, so I put a 2-ticket package in my cart, but when I went to check out it had changed to 1 ticket. It was the same price. So they charged me $80 for 1 ticket when it was the same price for 2 tickets. Why did the number of tickets change once I added them to the cart? BS. So I called and complained, and of course there's nothing they can do about it. They can't cancel the transaction, so I filed a fraud claim at my bank and got it back. F StubHub. Expedia and all the sites they own control, which is a lot of them. Expedia screwed me over in a bad way, and then their customer service people insulted me when I tried to call attention to the serious issues. Ultimately, they offered me a gift card as a take it or leave it solution to the entire issue. I left it and went on a crusade to slam them on Twitter. I did it for a long time but got bored. The issue: their website let someone use my email address to buy plane tickets. The person didn't need my PW, and I believe they just made a typo that resulted in them using my email address in a required field. When I got an email confirmation about my airline tickets, I called to say it was wrong. Expedia cancelled the tickets and called it settled. When the actual customer arrived at the airport and their tickets were cancelled, they called Expedia. The rep from Expedia told them I cancelled their ticket, and then gave this angry person my full name and my cell phone so that he and I could sort it out between the two of us. The guy was P and made vague threats, so I contacted Expedia customer service to get this addressed. When I refused their offer of a $50 Expedia gift card, they told me I could suck a soft dong or a throbbing hard dong. My choice. I declined to do either, and we parted ways forever. The end. What the frick? Surely it's an illegal breach of privacy for them to give out your number like that? Anything that even has a hint of MLM. Stop exploiting your personal relationships out of greed. Moms. Losing money. Harvey Norman. They have terrible customer service and they took a whole lot of Australian government money that they didn't deserve and are refusing to give it back. Once upon a time when internet shopping was new and novel, a lot of people didn't trust it because they were afraid of providing their credit card details to the World Wide Web. It was a time when you were told don't tell anyone online your name and where you live. However, slowly people started to adopt to buying things online as they saw the convenience of being able to make purchases and get those items delivered. More websites began getting into the online shopping space and internet shopping started to gain momentum. People realized they could buy things online, and even with the currency conversion and shipping fees, it still worked out cheaper than buying in a traditional brick and mortar store. That's how much we were getting ripped off in Australia. The main drawback was back then there were long shipping times. Jerry Harvey, the multi-billionaire, started to whinge and complain that online shopping was hurting his business. He had it good for decades ripping off the Aussie consumer, and with the advent of internet shopping, he could see his profits start to decline. He said it spoils consumers have a choice to purchase online and that there could be warranty issues or fake products or whatever crap that spewed out of his mouth. Every Christmas period he would go on television and complain if sales had decreased from the previous holiday season or if there was only a slight increase in sales. If sales were good that year, he would be happy and say spending is up. At the time, goods and services tax was exempt for online purchases from overseas as if the total was below 1k. One day Jerry Harvey the rat bastard decides to lobby the Australian government to reduce that threshold to $300 and says Australian businesses can't compete with overseas retailers. Somehow buying an item online, paying currency conversion fees and international shipping still ends up cheaper, yet Australian consumers aren't being ripped off. There's much public backlash to the fuckwit Jerry Harvey's proposal. Politicians scrap the idea. Jerry complains and whinges and whines. Years later he lobbies the government again. However, this time not to reduce the threshold to $300, but he wants all purchases from overseas to be liable for the GST. Somehow, this passes. Not sure how many bribes he had to make in order to have that happen, but there you go. This is the same dickhead that told everyone to spend their $900 GFC stimulus money on plasma screens in his stores. Every time that you make a purchase online from overseas and it's more expensive by 10%, you can thank your multi-billionaire friend, Jerry Harvey. How much more money does the greedy piece of crap want? I will never buy anything from a Harvey Norman store ever again. I know people that pay more for an item to avoid buying from there. I probably wouldn't pee on Jerry Harvey if he was on fire. eBay escaped an abusive relationship and was changing all my passwords to random combinations. Set it to log out all devices and force the password to be re-entered. It wasn't actually doing that. I tried from multiple devices so it wasn't a keylogger or anything my abusive ex was doing. I also confirmed if I logged in on other devices, reset password and clicked to log out all devices, it was not logging other devices out. Abusive ex was bidding winning auctions. I called eBay to report the issue. They said it isn't that my account has been hacked, fraud, because I know who is doing it. They would do nothing. Said I would just have to take the bad feedback and be blacklisted and that I should pick better partners. Didn't matter that they had a major security flaw. All I could do was remove the payment methods from my account so he couldn't pay for his auctions. I will never use them again. Bank of America fricked me over for $10 back in 1993 on a mistake they made. Never getting my motherfucking business again. ETA. What a nice surprise to commiserate with you all on our shared vitriol for Bofa and their ilk. It was maddening to read some of your stories, and a few were just heartbreaking. I am uplifted by the stubborn streak running through this thread and appreciates the hilarious instances of malicious compliance. Many thanks for the awards. Such a nice treat. Happy Friday to you all. Except you Bofa. You can eat a bag of syphilitic dongs. I was boycotting Blockbuster for charging me late fees because they lost the tape I returned in their evening return slot. Frick those guys, they ain't getting my business. You showed them. They only have one store left. I used to live in an apartment next door to a pizza place. Pizza was decent so I went there at least once a week. There was a woman who worked there who usually wasn't the most friendly, but I never really had any issue. I wasn't the chatty type, but I was a regular so I'm pretty sure all the employees recognized me. One time though I walk in and it's her and another employee working there. The woman is in back so I order my usual 2 slices with the other employee who puts them in the oven, and stand by the counter watching TV to wait. A minute later the woman comes in on the phone and asks me, did you order? And I said yeah, I just got the 2 slices. For some reason she assumed the other employee hadn't done anything so she puts 2 more slices in the oven. I wasn't really paying attention so I didn't think anything of it. A minute later the other employee walks back in, takes the 2 slices she put in for me and boxes them up. That's when the woman realizes what happened. I still didn't realize, and completely loses her crap at me. She starts screaming, why didn't you say your slices were already in? Now I just wasted these, and dramatically dumps them in the trash. What's wrong with you? The whole place just goes dead silent and everyone is staring at me. I'm just standing there bewildered and trying to make sense of what just happened. So I just blurt out sorry and walk out. As the shock wore off and I replayed the events in my head, realizing I didn't really do anything wrong or at worst was just an honest misunderstanding, I got pretty upset that I got yelled at like a child, especially after being a regular for years. At that moment I decided I'm never stepping foot in that pizza place again. And I didn't. I lived next to it for another 3 years and not once went in or even ordered from it. LOL, she was embarrassed, she fricked up so she screamed at the customer. Any normal place she's gone, customer goes home with pizza coupons. State Farm. Thanks to some whistleblowers, they got busted committing fraud against their customers and the federal government after Hurricane Katrina. They told their claims adjusters to classify damage as flood damage, rather than wind damage, so that they could reject the claim and tell customers to file a federal flood insurance claim. Katrina survivor here. Had a $250k policy. Had to sue them due to non-payment to only end up with $20k. I hate the insurance industry with a passion. Multi-level marketing schemes. They're crap companies that attract crappy, and sometimes desperate people, and train them on how to profit off of their friends and families. They destroy lives and I refuse to support them. Lifetime Fitness. It really pains me to write this, because I really love their gyms. I had a membership at Lifetime on and off through college. I went to a very large university with great amenities, so I didn't need the membership during the school year. I tried to cancel at the end of one summer. I was at the gym one day and I asked about cancellation. I was told to come back at a certain time frame the following Wednesday to cancel. I complied. When I showed up, the person doing the cancellations wasn't there. I was told to return the following Wednesday. Surprise. Surprise. The person wasn't there again. I told them I was going to stop the payment through the credit card company. They responded by telling me that they'd take me to collections then. I ended up escalating through their corporate offices to get the membership cancelled. They managed to get 2 extra months of fees out of me. After that year of college, I shifted over to LA Fitness and maintained that membership for about 10 years. When I moved away from LA Fitness, I joined the YMCA, where I've been for the last 5-6 years. I will always have a gym membership, but I am committed to not joining a Lifetime Fitness again until I'm reimbursed. It's really a loss for both of us. I have been boycotting Carnival Cruise Line ever since I found out they are dumping plastic into the Bahamas. They even admitted to it and received a $20 million fine. SiriusXM Radio. If you've ever dealt with the customer service when trying to cancel your subscription, you'll understand why. They went from $12.99 a month to $1.99 a month for 6 months in a single phone call. Yelp. They are horrible to small businesses and require them to pay a fortune for ads to bury any negative reviews. If the business doesn't spend on ads, they bury the positive reviews. Yelp also seems to attract the worst critics. EA Sports BC. They ruined my favorite video games genre. I miss the old FIFA. FIFA 1017 was just something different and had greatness which hasn't been touched since. Denny's. I got a side salad with my meal that had a huge sticker on a chunk of lettuce that I discovered when it was in my mouth. Spat it out and called the waitress over to show her and asked for the manager. The manager comes over to my table and says, "What's your problem?" "I found this sticker in my salad and it hurt when I bit down on it." "That was in your mouth? Gross. What do you want me to do about it?" "I don't think I should pay for it at a minimum." She snatched the salad away from me and I never saw her again. The waitress brought my check and lo and behold there was a salad on it that I had only tried to eat one sticker cover bite. I protested and she said, "The manager thinks you put that sticker on it to get a free meal." Frick you, Denny's. Big sip of coffee, roach in my mouth. Same thing. Manager came over and then proceeded to tell me that they don't have roaches. BP Gas. How they handled the Gulf oil spill and then acted like fricking children about violations made me so pee. One guy literally told the judge that everyone does it when asked why they didn't follow the guidelines. Any company or brand that puts advertisements on boat billboards that troll the beach and frick up my horizon line. That's not a fair spot to try to capture my attention. The Oscars. Screw the Oscars. That Hollywood circle jerk has absolutely no business telling anyone what cinema is. 2017 Boss Baby got nominated for Best Animated Feature, but your name didn't? Excuse me? WTF. Then 30 plus people die in an arson attack on an animation studio in Japan and not so much as a single word during the in remembrance section. If that happened to Pixar, they would have given them a full-on 20-minute segment. Chris Brown. Johnson & Johnson. Their baby powder gave my sister stage 3 ovarian cancer at 29. She's on her 4th recurrence and just turned 32 and is about to enter hospice. Went from top of her career field in demand all over the country to living with our parents and me to help care for her, and can't even walk up the stairs without help. Frick them. Any company that gives off baby innocent soft vibes and loads of green stuff about nature being wonderful, take a second look. Pep Boys. They wouldn't honor the warranty on an alternator that died on me after 3 weeks. The alternator seized, so the engine couldn't even turn over. I was stranded in the snow at night. That was 11 years ago. Haven't been in one since. My headlights weren't turning on during the daytime. Old Chevy Prism Toyota Corolla, so I changed out the alternator myself and returned the core. 3 weeks later, my car was screaming like a banshee at random intervals at low speed. I'd had a friend whose car threw a flywheel, so I thought my engine was a goner. I had to call whatever local mechanic was nearest to have my car towed. Sure enough, it was the new alternator. It cost me $450 for the tow and to replace the $90 alternator I'd already changed. To set the stage, I was a new dad, just had my second beautiful girl. I recently graduated college, adult student, and was unfortunately married to a borderline sociopath. I had unimaginable student and credit card debt and worked no less than 3 jobs for as many years. Making ends meet was a joke. I bought food on credit cards. Doing my own vehicle maintenance was a necessity. I changed out water pumps, alternators and distributors on my other cars. I rebuilt carbs and entire motorcycles in order to sell them off. I'd already sold the dream bike I built before getting married. It's a vintage bike. Nothing special, but it was mine. Along with all my cheap guitars and anything I could get a buck for on eBay. I worked in tile installation, managed a restaurant on weekends and did freelance IT on the side after my regular 9 to 5. My wife was able but unwilling to work. I was doing whatever it took to keep going and try to avoid spending money on anything we didn't absolutely need. We were past dead broke. There's my life at that point. Then this happens. I was never so sure that the universe had turned on me than I was during that interaction with Pep Boys. My hatred of the company isn't just their customer service policy or the dubious quality of their cheap imported merchandise. Pep Boys, to me, represents a real existential quandary that punctuated the worst years of my life. Pep Boys is like the absolute lowest rung of car parts dealers. You're better off anyway. Late to the party, so almost no one will see this, but Car Shield. I once bought a used car sight unseen, rare model, whole other story, and had it shipped to my state. Since it was a pretty big investment on a used car known to have high maintenance costs, I called Car Shield to see what they would charge for a warranty. I ended up being okay with the cost and coverage, so I accepted and signed up on the phone. Took about 30 minutes all in. The car showed up later that week and was a disaster. Clearly had been damaged since the pictures were taken, engine knock, etc. I had used a third-party site and was able to ship the cat back for a full refund. I thought that would be the hard part, but then I tried to cancel my Car Shield policy. I spent over 4 hours on the phone. First, I had multiple people argue with me and say that I should keep the policy because I had introductory pricing that I couldn't get again. Keep the policy on a car I didn't even purchase. Then when that tactic failed, I would simply get hung up on and transferred to some other rep. I'd repeat my demand to cancel my policy, listen to them tell me to keep it, and get placed back on hold. Finally I found someone kind enough to actually let me cancel my policy. Never again. I used to try and boycott Amazon. Never ordered anything from them. Didn't go on sites like Goodreads or IMDb. Didn't shop at stores they had shares in. Then I discovered Oz. Tried to run a custom script that would block any site hosted on Oz, but that made using the internet nearly impossible. The final nail in the boycott coffin was when I needed to use it for a web development class. Now that Amazon has bought MGM, I'm not sure how anyone will ever be able to participate in society without filling Bezos' pockets. Don't forget how much governments rely on their servers as well. A significant portion of the US government stores a lot of stuff with them and needs them for communication. Autism speaks. Among other things, the way they treat autism like it's some kind of horrible personality disease is unforgivable. Kat Von D makeup. Even now that she's supposedly not part of it anymore, I'm not risking it. Yup, I used to call the tattoo liner one of my favorite products, but after reading more about Kat Von D, I went searching for a dupe. NYX Epic Ink Liner is my new go-to and it's significantly cheaper, $9, than KVD, $21. Orange sticks. Around 10 years old, I ate the whole top layer, 14 sticks I think, and a little while later vomited 5 times in a row. I know it was my fault, but I can't look at them anymore without thinking about that. Amazon, Walmart, Facebook, Nestle and its child companies. EA is soon to be on the permanent list as well, but not quite yet. Europe, not the continent, the band. I went to Download Festival and stood in the pouring rain for 40 minutes ahead of their time to get a good spot, then a further 40 minutes as they were delayed. An announcement then came over the PA stating Europe will not be performing tonight as we cannot get them to the stage due to the weather conditions. I never saw Final Countdown live because it was too muddy, and I'll be damned if I ever listen to it again after experiencing what it was like to live underwater. Nike products. Nike literally has the worst employee pay and treatment than any other retail company out there, not to mention their use of child labor, which I will agree with the fact that other companies use child labor as well, but Nike is on another level of corporate retail evil. FedEx. As much as I can help it, I obviously can't boycott them if it's the only delivery option on an e-commerce website, or if someone company happens to ship me something via FedEx. But I have literally chosen to pay more on an e-commerce website, to specifically not use FedEx as a shipping service. Reason: when I bought my Pixel 3, the first day it was supposed to arrive, I worked from home that day to sign for my package. They never arrived, and on the tracking, wrote that I wasn't home to receive the package. I was furious, so I spent the next 2 days working from home, and even did my work in the kitchen, so that I could physically see if any delivery driver actually walks up to my door. 3 straight freaking days in a row, not a single person comes up. Ring doorbell even doesn't show them walking up, but they have the mother freaking audacity to claim I wasn't home 3 straight days in a row. I ended up having to pick it up at their facility, just because they lied 3 times in a row. Even after a phone call each day the first 2 days, the customer service person even told me I probably missed them when I went to the restroom or something. Can't even own up to the freaking fact that everybody in their company are a bunch of freaking liars. So for that reason alone, I pay more for shipping as long as it's not FedEx. I've specifically driven a further distance to get something printed at Staples or Office Depot just so I don't step foot into a FedEx store. Boycotting FedEx until the day I die. This is too late for you, but maybe it can help someone else. FedEx did the exact same thing to me, but I was able to get my package within a few hours. I work from home and I was expecting my new iPhone, which was rush shipped for early morning delivery. I put a note for the driver on my door that said I was home and to knock. I kept refreshing the tracking info until finally it said a delivery was attempted, but I was not home. I called their customer service line and sat on hold for about 45 minutes before reaching a series of people who kept passing me off to someone else. Finally, I ended up with a very nice woman who was honest as frick with me, told me she was looking at his location and he scanned the package miles and miles away from my house. She called someone at the local dispatch who was able to get in touch with the driver and have him drive across the city to get my package to me. I left the note on my door just to frick with him, and yes, he was P. Susan G. Komen Foundation. They employ alphabet soup and lawyer speak to defraud millions. Note, they do not fund research nor do they help patients. They are an advertising company. They advertise cancer awareness, because someone may be unaware of cancerous. MADD, same as come on. They promote anti-drunk driving awareness. This is why I tell people to donate to research companies rather than awareness scams. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.